Hello, everybody, and welcome to the nation's first ever Children and Youth Resilience Summit. Thank you all for being here, whether you're with us in Washington, D.C. today or you're joining us online. We will be your MCs today, and we'll be leading you through this unique journey. And lucky for all of you, you get to stare at our beautiful faces for most of the day. I'm joined by Lizzie, who serves as a Senior Innovation Advisor and Acting Chief of Staff at the Office of Population Affairs. She's been in her position for 5 years and is incredibly passionate about what she does. In the words of Lizzie, she gets to give some money to some really cool people that do some really cool things. Not only is she passionate about her work, she also loves to scuba dive, run, and box. She loves her cats and is a huge fan of Grateful Dead.
Oh boy. And this is Tyler Jones. I met Tyler for the first time just a few months back, but instantly I knew that Tyler would change the world. Tyler uses he, him pronouns. He comes from the great state of Florida. He's a passionate coach for trans youth and adults and is currently finishing his coaching certification for that purpose. Tyler is a powerful mentor, and he told me that he's driven to this work to ensure that no one else has to undertake their journey of self-discovery on their own. Tyler will also be representing one of our finalist teams, the Trans Mentor Project, in our showcase later today. So welcome to Tyler. So Tyler and I are here on behalf of the design team, which was a group of 10 people representing both the federal government and some of our 14 finalist teams who created and implemented not just today's showcase that you have right now, but also our finalists' next 2 days together in the Capitol. So can we please give them a hand for all of the work they've done?
I am now pleased to introduce our opening speaker for today. Andrea is the Deputy Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services. As Deputy Secretary, she is the Chief Operating Officer and is responsible for overseeing the day-to-day operations of the department. Paul most recently served as a Secretary Designee of the Department of Health Services, overseeing one of the largest state agencies in Wisconsin as a member of Governor Tony Evers' cabinet. Previously, Palm held a number of senior policy and operational roles in the Obama-Biden administration at HHS. During her 8-year tenure, she worked on a variety of administration priorities, including the Affordable Care Act, as well as providing leadership for the department's work to combat the opioid epidemic. Palm was born and raised in rural upstate New York, and she holds a bachelor's degree from Cornell University and a master's degree from Washington University in St. Louis.
Good afternoon. I am Andrea Palm, and I have the unbelievable privilege of serving as the Deputy Secretary here. Thank you both for your leadership and the introduction. And I'm so pleased to be here. The energy in this room is palpable, and it really speaks to what a really wonderful idea this was, and the way in which it has been embraced, and the just the fact that we got so very many more applications than we could possibly entertain really does speak to the hunger and the need for this work, and really speaks to why it's important that young people lead and that we find ways to give them to lead, because they bring forward for their communities and the views and the issues in which they feel impassioned, real solutions that will serve their communities for years to come, and will lead them, hopefully, as the COO of this place, I'm very interested in the next generation of public servants, that it leads some of them to find their way to doing this work systemically in a place like HHS or others, that allows us to each take our turn and fulfill our responsibility to lift up and pull forward the leaders of the next generation. So thank you all for being here. This is just so very, very exciting. As you all know, our finalists here today hail from California, New Mexico. I'm surprised I'm not getting woot-woots on any. Texas, Michigan. Excellent, excellent. Nebraska, Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisiana. Oh, come on, Louisiana. And a team right here from our very own DC. Excellent. As you all are well aware, you've been working for months on this, and we are really, truly inspired and eager to continue to learn about your approaches, think about how we, again, pull them forward, and also help bring to the table other federal partners to continue to really advance and build on this work as we think about promoting the mental health among children, youth, teens, young adults, recognizing that we need to really turn the data and the stats that we all know too well into real action for real people. So we're really thrilled to have so many of you here, as I noted, and really looking forward to making sure that we're, again, providing the support and the tools that are needed to move this forward. And I'm very confident that your innovations are not only going to inspire us here at HHS, but that they'll inspire communities. They will become best practices. They will be the things that we are helping other communities and other parts of this country to pick up and push forward as you continue to develop and move these forward. So again, much appreciation for all of the work that you've done. You honor us with your leadership and your innovation and your ideas, and we're very grateful to have come to this idea and be able to be partners with all of you in it. So congratulations to all of the finalists. Please keep up this important work. Please continue to think of us as a support and an opportunity to continue to develop these ideas and others, and we will look forward to seeing you in the future leading us here at HHS or in other important leadership roles around DC and in your own community. So thank you so very much.
Well, thank you so much to Deputy Secretary Palm for her leadership on behalf of our nation's children and youth. Now let's turn to our showcase, shall we? The Innovators Showcase is a hybrid event today. It is featuring all 14 of our Children and Youth Resilience Challenge Innovation Team finalists. It will spotlight their work in communities across the nation and tell their unique stories of impact, growth, and learning. Our finalist teams are grouped into 4 different themes, which we will introduce shortly. Participants here and online, you too play a big role today. At our door, you should have received a handout, or if you're online, you should have accessed it in the calendar hold. It's a space for you to take notes. We want you to be thinking critically about what you're hearing, identify innovation teams you want to follow up on, learnings they shared, impact ideas, and we want you to follow up with them. We've built a community here, and we're hoping our community will continue to grow with all of you and with all of you online today. So now let's turn to our first group and get them ready to come up. So I am pleased to introduce to you our very first group of presentations. These 4 teams are piloting creative and meaningful ways to bridge generations to promote healing, resilience, and very importantly, justice. They include Students Run Philly Styles Mile Up program, the Trans Mentor Project, BRIA's 2-Generation Approach, and the Travis County Transformation Project. Let's welcome up Students Run Philly Style first.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Kobolars, and I'm joined by Mariana Falco, and we're from Students Run Philly Style. If you look around this room today, I bet we all have at least one thing in common, that as teenagers, on our best days, there was at least one of 3 things that gave us strength. Someone who believed in us, something you like to do, or a moment of unexpected success. On our best day at Students Run, we deliver all three. We'd love to share just a glimpse of what that looks like in practice, about how we pair mentorship with long-distance running to promote healing, resilience, and justice. So we have a short video for you.
Students Run Philly Style is Students Run Philly Style.
We've got the first second of a video.
I think it's just on a lag. There we go.
Students Run Philly Style is a 501c3 nonprofit based in Philadelphia. We are a mentoring program that engages young people through long-distance running.
Really, the goal is just promoting a healthy lifestyle and just giving that space for students and teachers to connect.
She will push you to the next goal in order to make another goal to break that one, and it will go on and on and on. She's a good mentor to talk to as well.
Hearing their stories, a lot of them deal with things that I could never even imagine at their age. It's quite impressive, all that they face and do, and I'm just honored to be a part of it.
I just wanted to welcome you all to the 44th Annual Philadelphia Distance Run. My name is Aisha. By day, I hang out at Students Run Philly Style, but with you this morning, I'm going to be your announcer.
Running, it helps with a lot of things like thinking, stress, and other stuff that you're going through.
Where we see the most impact is watching a student go from, I don't know if I can do that, to I can't believe I just did that, to what can I do next?
I hope that the students just felt like they were part of something incredible, which they are. And I hope that inspires them to continue to work towards hard goals and work to achieve them.
So as you can see, we couldn't take you for a run today, so this is the closest thing we could get. But Students Run, it allows our young people to step a little bit outside of their comfort zone with the support of a caring mentor and a team around them. So we've taken that model with our innovation and applied it in a new way with our program, Mile Up. Mile Up is an intentionally designed intervention that offers young people facing delinquency charges the opportunity to be diverted away from the juvenile justice system while experiencing the benefits of our program.
So the Mile Up program is rooted in these core elements. There's purposeful mentoring. We know from research and practice that the most important protective factor in youth resilience is at least one relationship with a supportive adult. There's rhythm and regulation. We know that sport by itself is a form of stress on our bodies and our minds, but sport as an intervention can transform stress from toxic to tolerable, because the pattern, repetitive, and rhythmic motion of running and the consistency of doing that in the presence of a caring adult can promote physiological and emotional regulation to bounce forward from toxic stress. There's also goal setting and safe risks. So remember, sport is a form of stress, and so this model allows young people to practice being under stress in the presence of a caring adult and learn to take small, controlled risks, like making a new friend or taking on a new challenge. And that's the idea of how we develop the marathon mindset. It's this idea that if you can work towards a long-term goal, work to achieve it, and complete something really hard, then it makes you wonder, if I can do this, what else can I do? And there's opportunities for peer mentorship and reflection. So students can reflect on the circumstances that brought them to Mile Up and develop skills and a new vision for their future beyond the program. They can also come back to work with the program as paid peer mentors so that they can support other young people in their shoes and take their first steps into leadership. And so we know that mentorship paired with distance running can provide a really unique support for young people. And what we've seen through the Mile Up program is that more than 70% of our students increase physical activity, positive coping skills, and protective factors. More than 70% decrease levels of stress, and more than 90% of our students had their charges dropped, records expunged, and restitution fees paid. And so we consistently hear from our students that through running alongside their mentors, they learn to believe in themselves and what they can accomplish beyond the finish line and outside of the juvenile justice system.
I will just say our last one little thing is that our next steps for this program, with the help of our HHS mentor, we are planning to develop implementation templates so that we can replicate this model in other places. and also implement an upstream approach for young people to catch them before they're involved in the justice system. So we're really happy to be here today, and thank you all so much for your time.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joe Costa, and for the past year, I've had the opportunity to work with the amazing people at Trans Mentor Project. I originally applied for the Need to Act into the United States that is growing ever more hostile to trans and non-binary youth. Currently, there are 484 anti-LGBTQ+ bills that are being debated across the country, many of which target trans youth. In the United States today, trans youth face the intersecting crises of bullying, rejection, isolation, and a lack of access to gender-affirming care. According to a survey of trans youth conducted by the Trevor Project, 86% of these youth felt that the current debates around legislating are impacting their mental health, and that 50% of them have seriously considered suicide. A common response to living in a world without access to resources, support, or community in a society that seemingly does not want them to exist. Within all these crises, Trans Mentor Project stands to help increase their resilience to weather these impacts on their well-being. Trans Mentor Project is an online mentoring program that uses the evidence-based youth empowerment model to serve trans youth aged 14 to 24 by pairing them with trained trans and non-binary mentors. These mentee-mentor pairings increase the resilience of our youth and empower our youth by providing a safe, affirming space that has been shown to improve their social and emotional well-being. Trans Mentor Project was also intentionally designed to be online and free so we could reach a diverse range of trans youth and young adults, particularly those who may not have access to support due to things like chronic illness, disability, residing in rural areas, or residing in one of these states impacted by anti-trans legislation. I know in my own journey, as a trans woman who grew up in Ohio, this would have been instrumental to me, and it's so important in the lives of the youth that we serve. Trans Mentor Project is also a place to build community. It's one of the only places where a lot of these youth can see trans adults living happy and free, helping instill that confidence in them, helping see a positive future is possible. When it's also a place for these youth to connect with each other. They connect through ongoing social hangouts, workshops, and leadership opportunities to actually help them shape Trans Mentor Project as a program and build the advocacy skills that they need for themselves and to change their communities. To tell you more about Trans Mentor Project and how it increases resilience in its youth, I'm passing off to Tyler, a mentor here at Trans Mentor Project.
I've been a mentor for TMP for a year now, so I've seen and experienced the incredible community that TMP has fostered firsthand. TMP has created an exceptional community for both trans mentees and mentors alike. I was paired with my mentee when he was 18. 18 is an incredibly vulnerable, daunting, and confusing age to be. You're on the cusp of adulthood, and nobody really tells you how to be an adult. When my mentee and I met, he was struggling to figure out things with school, struggling to figure out his passions, dealing with transphobic interactions on a daily basis in an environment that no longer suited him, and he was lacking confidence. My mentee has shown incredible amounts of resilience and bravery through our continual journey together. While I've been a guiding hand as his mentor, he has done every ounce of work to get to where he is today now. Now he's decided on a school that's right for him and a career that he's passionate about. He's working a job that he truly enjoys. He's feeling more confident in his identity and what he wants out of life, and he's showing up as his authentic self in every aspect of his life. My mentee's story is one that I hear very commonly in the TMP community. The work that TMP is doing is changing the lives of trans youth, because having just one trusted adult in an LGBTQ plus child's life can reduce their risk of a suicide attempt by 50%. As you can see from all of the quotes we have and my mentee's journey, and as we've learned from our program evaluations, TMP is having a positive effect on trans resilience, and we are ready to scale up this innovation. Trans Mentor Project helps ensure that no trans youth becomes a statistic. We show that it is possible for trans youth to not just survive, but to thrive. You killed it. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Just that one, yep.
Padres e hijos estamos conectados de sentimientos, de sangre y de corazón. Entonces, todo lo que nosotros tenemos, ellos lo sienten y podemos nosotros recibir todo lo que ellos sienten. Luca.
So, hi everyone. We all know that the relationship between a parent and a child can be really powerful. And I'm just thinking back to my experience when my now 13-year-old son was born, and they placed this crying baby on my chest after like 2 days of traumatizing labor. And I didn't know what to do. And so someone in the room said to me, just talk to him. He needs to hear your voice. And so I did. Who knows what I said? And he instantly stopped crying and just visibly relaxed. And so right in that moment, I knew that that connection between me and my child was strong.
Think about that. Piénsenlo. We know that human babies from the moment of birth are primed for connection. Even though they can't see visually from a great distance, they look to the human face to guide them, to regulate their feelings, their actions, and to get that essential connection met, not just for their basic needs, for that lifeline. Even though we know there is no fail-safe recipe for successful parenting, we do know that when families operate within healthy systems of support, during those earliest years when the brains and nervous systems are developing at such a rapid rate, they are more likely to help their children thrive in an increasingly complicated world.
So at Bria, our two-generation school right here in Washington, D.C., we really lean into this idea of the parent-child connection, but we also really aim to support parents in community with each other. So we know, like Lisa said, that mutual support is not accessed equally. So anyway, we have over 700 immigrant families that come to our school every year. The parents increase their English skills and earn workforce credentials while their young children participate in a very interactive, nature-based early childhood education. And because we center family learning and literacy, we have weekly child development classes followed by interactive family time in the child's classroom. So for our resilience innovation, we added 2 additional components to that child development block of time. We added wellness sessions for parents and hands-on workshops with the idea that this will build their capacity to teach their children, to mentor resilience, and to be able to co-regulate with their children.
You can go ahead, 2 of them. Yeah. So this next visual depicts our resilience innovation more in its entirety with our aim to leverage families' funds of knowledge and their existing strengths
as resilience architects, really, with these 4 interlocking pillars that centers parents like Sandra, who you briefly saw in that video, who used to be a participant with her 2 young children and is now employed with us as a coworker, as a student services coordinator. So number 1, I'm just going to lay out really briefly. The first one that you see is the child development sessions, and their parents are really, it's anchored in their interests and needs, and they're gaining practical tools and supporting each other really to build their children's resilience. And topics like healthy media use, co-regulation, play, attachment, sensory systems, all of that. The second element of the wellness sessions acknowledges that parents themselves need to have emotional support and physical well-being in order to build their children's resilience. So they do things like gentle movement, mindful breathing, etc. The third element of the early childhood workshops, those are led by early childhood experts. They're very hands-on and provide artistic expression and lots of materials and experiences that families can easily replicate at home. And then finally, it all comes together in family time where parents, teachers, and children focus on interactive relationship building experiences either indoors or in nature-based oases really within the heart of Washington, D.C. that can provide children with greater sense of calm, focus, and agency outdoors.
We're going to end right there. Thank you.
Sit down or stand so you can see the screen. You're welcome to. Or there's also a seat on the stage if you want to sit there.
Involvement with our juvenile criminal legal system can have severe consequences for children, for families, for communities, and for our public safety. Good afternoon. My name is Jose Garza, and I'm humbled to be the Travis County District Attorney. Between 2010 and 2020, the #1 reason that children were arrested in our community is for a charge called assault family violence. When a dispute arises in the home between a child and their parent, too often that dispute becomes violent and parents call the police. Once the police arrive, the child is arrested, detained, and enters our juvenile criminal legal system. When a child enters our juvenile criminal legal system, it disrupts their livelihood and their families, and the instability it creates is not good for our public safety. We also know that violence in the home is learned behavior, that it's transmitted intergenerationally. The consequences of not adequately addressing violence in the home can be devastating. Children who witness violence in the home are at greater risk of suffering from anxiety, depression, PTSD, and also have higher incidence of substance use. Children who witness violence in the home are 3 times more likely than their peers to engage in violent behavior in the future. And we know that there is a connection between childhood violence and interpersonal violence when those children become adults. In fact, from 2010 to 2020, during the same time period in Travis County, a plurality of homicides among adults arose out of domestic violence. But we are here with you this afternoon because no child should have to be arrested to receive the help that they need. We are here with you this afternoon because it doesn't have to be this way.
We have the power to fix this. Good afternoon. My name is Danielle Williams. I am the Programs Director for the Excellence and Advancement Foundation. EAF is a nonprofit organization led by women of color with deep roots in Travis County. Last year, we joined with 2 nonprofit organizations, LifeWorks and AMALA, in addition to our partners in academia at NYU and the University of Texas at Austin, to launch this one-of-a-kind pilot program. This new approach diverts children from the criminal legal system to the restorative justice program that addresses trauma, repairs harm, and helps to strengthen the community. Although we are at an early phase, we are hopeful that this approach can prevent future violence in our community, namely gun violence. But the truth is, the path to this early success was not always easy. We deeply believe that the solutions to the challenges our youth and families face can be found in the community and outside of the systems that too often exasperate harm. For years, communities impacted by gun and family violence are the same communities that have received the least investment. Small nonprofit organizations led by people of color with modest budgets and staff stretched to capacity have strained themselves to do the work the government really should do. We've worked hard to build trust with our system partners and to bridge the gap between the system and our community. By working with law enforcement, we are ensuring that kids and families are getting the help they need instead of going to jail. When law enforcement arrives at a home, after a child has been accused of an act of violence, parents are given a choice. Their child can be arrested, or they can be taken to a respite center where the family enters a cooling off period, during which both the youth and the guardian are connected to the services and support they desperately need. Then the family enters the restorative process to begin to heal and address the root causes of intergenerational violence in the home. Since our program began, 25 families have chosen recovery over incarceration. 25 children have been diverted from the criminal legal system and are now engaging in the restorative process. Since we started, only 1 child has been rearrested. Historically, in our county, within the similar time frame, these offenses have had a recidivism rates as high as 50%. By treating kids like kids, we are giving them the chance to succeed. Not only is it the right thing to do, but it also tends to improve the long-term public safety of our community. But our work is far from done. Because of a lack of resources, every day we're forced to turn around children younger than 15. Every day, 14, 13, and 12-year-olds are arrested instead of getting the help that they so desperately need. But it doesn't have to be that way.
We have the power to fix this. We have the power to transform the lives of children and their families, and we hope you will join us. Thank you.
Let's give another quick round of applause to our first 4 finalists today. Our second group of finalists focused on helping youth build skills that help to support their resilience. These finalists lead the way in fostering positive childhood and youth experiences. Our second group consists of Building Resilience in Louisville Youth, Hope Champions Network, Reaction, and ACEs screening at Well Child Visits.
Welcome. All right, welcome. And thank you for listening to our presentation. My name is Jo Cruz, and I'm with the Bounce Coalition. I'm the lead trainer there. And with me is Crystal Willis, who is our project manager, and Dr. Beverly Winch, who is our evaluator. And we are based in Louisville, Kentucky. And in Louisville, Kentucky, adverse childhood experiences are very common. And in fact, about 20% of our Louisville youth have experienced at least 2 ACEs. That's double the national standard. It's because of this that we do the work that we do. And so this project consisted of 16 in-person sessions with local Louisville youth at an out-of-school time site, the YMCA, and we were able to provide social and emotional learning to these youth. We discussed things like self-awareness, social awareness, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, and self-management. So research shows the benefits listed up there, but one of my favorites when working with the youth was being able to see their relationship skills building, right? And watching them do that together and with the staff, and then growing from there. So that was awesome. Sorry. Here we go. Another thing that we were able to do as we went through the process, I don't know what's going on with the clicker, but we were able to offer technical assistance as well as staff training. And later on this month, we're going to be able to provide 2 more sessions to incorporate more parent involvement through family nights. All right, as you can see from this slide, our evaluation design consisted of formative as well as summative evaluations with pre and post data. But of all the things that are incorporated up here that led to our continuous program improvement, my personal favorite was the core team meetings. We had the opportunity to meet with all people that were a part of this project and get some great minds together, but it just felt really, really good to be a part of such a caring team of people and to be able to provide what we were able to provide to the youth. We learned a couple of lessons as we went throughout this project. One of the main lessons that we learned was our curriculum choice. And with our curriculum choice, we realized that it wasn't as culturally competent as we needed it to be. So as we move on and go forward, we plan to tweak and redesign how we provide our materials to the youth that we serve. Another thing that I personally noticed was that every time I came to these in-person sessions, youth asked for food, you know, because they're hungry, right? And what I've noticed was that when we were able to provide that food, they were receptive, they were focused, they were on point, like they were really on task. When we did not have it, it was the opposite, right? And so what we know is that when we're talking about funding, we know that it's a big ask to ask for food, right? But we also know it's a big need with the communities that we serve. So if we're not able to get it, we are going to strive to do whatever we can in order to provide those food services to the youth and the people that we serve. Up next is a really quick video, and I will play it, and you'll be able to see the experiences that the youth and some of the staff were able to experience during the project.
My name is Grace Reyna, and I am a site director of 2 years over at Chancey Elementary for the YMCA School-Age Childcare.
My name is Sophia. My name is Maya. My name is Vincent. My name is Luca. I'm Xander, and I'm feeling good.
I signed on to the program because it would definitely benefit our staff, myself, and my kiddos. For my youth, the impact of learning social-emotional learning has led to identifying our emotions way easier, being able to comprehend those emotions, and learn more about ourselves and each other.
I'm feeling a little bit sad and happy. I am feeling excited. Felt happy.
The greatest SEL needs that I see within my kids would definitely be conflict resolution. We'll say one thing and we interpret it completely different, but we just don't know how else to say it, or maybe even just de-escalation when it comes to anger or just feeling overwhelmed or overstimulated. Very apparent to see the change in these kiddos. One case specifically, I have this kiddo who has almost sought bad attention all the time, or so we thought. Super stressful to constantly have a negative conversation with pickup people. But from this program, after a few weeks even, we've been able to just slow down, be able to identify really what is going on. And this child has definitely opened up and been able to say exactly what is going on and what are they feeling, so we can work better together with them. And we've actually improved their behavior a lot.
Well, it's fun and you get to do a lot of fun stuff. I learned about controlling our emotions and just being calm on whether what's happening with you or the problems that you have. What I've learned from this Joe is probably to about our emotions and to have teamwork.
My staff and I have 100% enjoyed Miss Jo and her team. We have definitely benefited from the program, and we...
All right, she just said we definitely benefited from the program and appreciated the work that we brought to them. If you would like to stay in contact with anybody from our site or like more information, we'd be happy to answer any questions afterwards. Thank you.
Did you know that hope and the degree to which you experience hope is the single greatest predictor of your future well-being. Hopeful people do three things. They see a bright future ahead of them, they can find pathways to that bright future, and they can handle any obstacles and frustrations that get in their way as they walk that path. The Hope Champions Network in Omaha is creating a community where everyone experiences hope. My name is Scott Butler. I'm the Senior Director of Prevention and Early Intervention at Project Harmony, which is the child advocacy center that serves the greater Omaha area. That spans eastern Nebraska, parts of eastern Nebraska, and 16 counties in southwest Iowa. Our story actually started in 2015. A group of local community leaders came together concerned about the impact that trauma was having on families in our community. They were mostly concerned that many of the professionals working with those families weren't making the connection between the experiences of their clients and traumatic stress. These leaders called for a multi-phase initiative through which we would make Omaha a truly trauma-informed community. Phase one called for training a tipping point of people that could spot and understand trauma. As a child advocacy center, our staff work with families experiencing trauma every day. So we decided to take the lead on the training goal. Fast forward to 2022. We were beginning to merge into a sense of normal following the COVID-19 pandemic, and we did the math. We realized that to that date, we had trained over 30,000 people, well in advance of the 22,000 that were called for by that goal. Phase two of the work asks the question, now that we can spot trauma and understand it, what do we do about it? Especially in a community that doesn't always have enough of the traditional resources needed to address mental health issues. And we have a large population of historically underserved people who often face significant obstacles in accessing those traditional supports. We found our answer in hope. The research is clear. Hope is the #1 predictor of well-being. Kids who experience hope have better school attendance, they have higher academic achievement, better health outcomes, and they're more engaged in school and community activities. Research is also clear that when we teach skills related to hope science to kids experiencing traumatic stress, we can mitigate the long-term impact of adverse childhood experiences. Gallup organization, also located in Omaha, has been measuring hope in young people since their inaugural Gallup student engagement poll in 2009. Since that date, they've been telling us consistently that while hope is the #1 predictor of future well-being, fewer than half of our nation's youth are hopeful. Our Hope Champions Network is changing those statistics. We launched in May of 2023. The Hope Champions Network is a train-the-trainer model that equips people to be hope champions. Hope champions are people who can look at their work that they're doing through a lens of hope science. They can identify where they're building hope and where they're ripping it down. And they can identify ways to further infuse hope science into the work they're doing. Our champions are also trained to deliver 8 hours of professional development to anyone in their sphere of influence on the topic of trauma and hope. While our initial focus was on one local school district, demand quickly grew. We now have over 200 Hope Champions who span from upstate New York to Las Vegas, Nevada. They represent a wide range of professions, including educators, law enforcement, mental health practitioners, faith community leaders, those working with homeless populations, medical providers, and those working in rural communities that often lack access to traditional health services. Our champions have already trained over 1,000 people in their own spheres of influence. And following their training, 97% of them report believing that implementing hope science in their work can have a profoundly positive impact on their community. Most importantly, we don't just teach hope science, we practice it. So when we think about the future, we see communities of hope. Our pathway to that bright future is creating hope champions across all sectors of the community. And we'll overcome the obstacles and frustrations we encounter on the way through the collaborative efforts of our Hope Champions. Please join us in being Hope Champions.
So when you think about New Orleans, what do you think about? Whoa, okay. Music, yes, it is literally Jazz Fest right now. Rolling Stones probably on stage. Food, jambalaya, lots of things. Maybe you're thinking about a trip you took and you went to the French Quarter and you don't actually remember. I won't ask, don't worry about it. But what we think about at the Institute of Women and Ethnic Studies is we remember the young people. We remember that they were left out of the conversation after Hurricane Katrina, and arguably way before that. So right now we're gonna show you a video that talks about how we use the arts and we prescribe the arts instead of medicine. And I also timed this and may have forgot to push that clicker because I was scared. So you might have like 20 seconds of a wait time. Think about that New Orleans trip. Think about the hand grenade or whatever else it is, and then it'll start up. I did push it, I promise.
And you just said welcome. I believe that art plays a big role in resilience.
Anything that you do that's artistic, it starts inside. It starts with your physicality. It starts with your body and your mind first.
What theater did for me was made me realize that I was special.
My creative outlet, even though for me it's theater, for some people it's singing, for some other people it's visual arts, it is important that when you have a creative outlet that it views you as a person, not just your creativity, but it allows you to say, hey, I'm good at something. Even if you're not the best at it, you're able to do something that allows you to express yourselves, and it allows you to grow and allows you to see yourself in a positive light.
Resilience.
The ability of individuals and their communities
to have the strength to overcome,
cultivate,
thrive, and nurture despite challenges and struggles.
resilience.
This project is about an intergenerational approach to bringing our young people back to that which is healing.
I come to these bounce back workshops and I'm allowed to kind of release and express myself, to reconnect with myself, rebuild that trust that I have or that I want to have with myself and with my community.
It was really important for us to have our young people grounded in the history of the space they occupy. So we started with a tour in the French quarters where we recognize the indigenous people who lived here before.
Coming to New Orleans as a college student, you don't really get to, learn a lot about the different types of cultures here in New Orleans and really learn to appreciate the history and the work done by the native tribes.
We also took them to one of the major parks in the city, again for them to understand its history and for them to experience the beauty that the earth, that nature brings into their sense of being.
So this included a spoken word performance, and we got to, hear folklore from Pearl under the chime tree, which was a very beautiful experience. We also took a mindfulness walk around the big lake, and we also took a photography lesson in the sculpture garden, which was really, really cool.
Through a process of human-centered design, after we felt our young people were grounded enough, we asked them what resilience meant to them.
So we worked together as a collective to build our own definition of resilience. I definitely have struggled with building resilience and definitely coming up with my own definition, getting in tune with my emotions, my feelings surrounding resilience definitely helped.
And then we did workshops with them using the healing arts.
We engaged in music and songwriting, dance, photography, and theater. And at iOS, we decided that we wanted to make more of these opportunities available to youth across the city. And so we are very happy that today folks are able to come out and share this day, art, culture, wellness for the youth to build resilience together.
From sound baths to marching bands, we want young people to experience how they can bounce back from the challenges in their life to some place of amazing growth.
having places where you can kind of find a safe space and really release all the stressors of your everyday life is truly important.
I'm really glad that we were able to bring these kind of workshops out to New Orleans youth, and I just can't wait to see what else we do with the Bounce Back Collective.
At the end of a performance, we're all going to take a bow on 3, 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't know which mic to use. Thank you all for being here today and for this opportunity to talk about our innovation titled ACEs, or Adverse Childhood Events Screening. Oops. That's right. To build a risk level tailored clinic to community response. I am Erin Vaneckenfort, an assistant professor in the Department of Population Health Sciences at Geisinger in Central Pennsylvania. I thought it would be fun to start this presentation with a couple of questions. So, by a show of hands, how many of you are parents? Great. Now, how many of you wake up and you decide, or really declare, today is going to be a bad day for our family? We're going to have disagreements, we're going to have tears, nothing's going to go as planned, my child is not going to listen to a word I say, and I'm going to raise my voice at them in frustration. Hands? Probably none of us, right? Similarly, parents don't wake up and decide to harm their child. That is, most often, child maltreatment is not premeditated. However, we do know that there are certain factors, parental risk factors, that do increase families' risk for child maltreatment. These include demographic factors like age, number of children in the home, and education level, social factors like marital status, living situation, use of tobacco or other substances, and life stress. There's also health factors like engagement in prenatal care and history of mental health diagnoses, and childhood factors like experiencing abuse or neglect as a child themselves. And although we know that there are these measurable risk factors, Pennsylvania, unlike most states, does not systematically track parental risk, which really stifles our ability to develop interventions that stop maltreatment before it happens. Because of this lack of systematic tracking, we developed our project, Alliance. The goal of our project is to develop and evaluate an integrated solution for identifying families at risk for child maltreatment, provide tailored preventative counseling and clinical care, and connect them to community resources to strengthen protective factors, prevent future maltreatment, and improve mental health and resilience of the whole family. To do this, in phase 1, we proposed implementing ACEs screening in pediatric clinics at well-child visits. The Phase 1 Resilience Challenge Award allowed us to begin our pre-implementation phase of our project, where we engaged stakeholders, we completed activities to consider feasibility, and we planned for the implementation phase. Throughout this process, in response to the problems and potential solutions that were provided by our stakeholders, we did decide to pivot in a way that better fit our community and our clinic. The first big shift that we made was to transition from screening in pediatric visits to prenatal visits, which allows us to get families connected to resources before a child or additional children arrive in the home. This also resulted in us shifting our screening from the child-focused ACEs screening to a traditional 10-item ACEs screening designed for adults. The second big shift that we made was to move from a universal screening of all birthing persons at our 3 birthing hospitals to a more targeted screening. This is great because it fits better with our clinical capacity, which I'm sure you all know, and it allows us to capture factors from all categories. So in our predictive risk model, we're capturing risk factors that are demographic, social, and health in nature to first identify families or birthing persons who are at elevated risk for child maltreatment, and then capturing their childhood risk with the ACEs screener. After risk is assessed, we are building clinical decision tools that will allow a trained social worker educator to provide personalized clinic and community resource referrals that really are tailored to the family's needs. Through this integrated solution, used to identify families at risk for child maltreatment and personalized preventative counseling and referrals, we hope to not only prevent future maltreatment, but also promote protective factors and improve the health and resilience of the whole family. Thank you.
Great. Can we have another round of applause for our innovators in the building skills theme? Our next three finalists stand out as innovators that have co-created supportive spaces so that peers are leading the way in fostering mental health and resiliency among young people. Our three finalists include the Cody Calm Center, Youth Health Ambassadors, and Nate's Place, a wellness and recovery center. First up is Cody Calm Center.
Hello, everyone, or as we say in Detroit, what up, though? Feel free to say it back. My name is Taylin Hodges. I am joined by Tamara Ware, and we are with the Cody Rouge Community Action Alliance Youth Council. The Cody Rouge Community Action Alliance is a nonprofit organization working in youth development, community engagement, and neighborhood stabilization. So, the Cody Calm Center. Back in 2019, when I first joined the organization, we began working with Hector Design and the City of Detroit government on a neighborhood strategic framework project aimed at creating a safer, more vibrant neighborhood in Cody Rouge and Warrendale. The key inputs provided by youth highlighted in this project included the ideas of a teen center, a space for youth run by youth. This idea was backed by many community members and branched into a mental health project, the Cody Calm Center. The process was also aimed at being youth-centric, just like the Neighborhood Framework Project. When we first started out, we rented out a building at Detroit Impact, which was a sad beige office space that wasn't very visually stimulating. Then we hired painters and carpet workers to help us transform the space into what you see here. We tried to keep the vibrance and youthfulness alive within our design. As you can see, we have a calm corner, a cozy corner. We provide snacks and food. We provide space for teens to study, relax, play games, and more.
How the community benefits us. Teens now have a space where they feel comfortable. We are often told that the room that we did, that it's a representation of like a cozy bedroom. It's really nice, actually. And teens who use Cody Calm Center, they participate in activities with, they feel comfortable opening up to peers and mentors. Next slide. The future of C3. When we walk through those doors, we can leave the outside world. It's basically like you going in your house and getting comfortable, kicking your feet up, you know? You gotta, it's the end of the day. So, and then we service more than 150 youth yearly. Next slide. Oh, my bad. We are trying to turn a building into a teen aid, live tutoring, gardening, meditation space, and large libraries and more. More room equals more teens provided for.
We hope you enjoyed our presentation. Stay awesome.
Just click the right one.
Yeah. Do you want to take your name tag off?
No,
You're
it's
good.
fine.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay. I'm trying not to use my cards, so I could be more interactive with you guys. Let's see. Okay. Well, hello everyone. My name is Christian Santos. I am the proud chair of the FCHIP Youth Health Ambassadors. Today I want to speak with you about our approach to building resilience in our community, which is primarily done through the ACEs Stress Buster wheel that you see on the right. This wheel basically just showcases 7 different evidence-based strategies of how to manage everyday stress and especially intervene in toxic stress at this core level as it relates to our own personal adverse childhood experiences called ACEs. We structured our curriculum surrounding these 3 highlighted focus points in which our interactive learning modules were held virtually 2 to 3 times a month. Each month was a training session of a different strategy in which were held between 1 to 2 hour sessions and were recorded for the students' convenience and so they could review it with their families and friends as well. And so then our curriculum mostly centered around focus on experts from our local community-based organizations, in which were diligently chosen for their knowledge on each specific strategy. And then with the knowledge, the students use the knowledge for our biggest component, which is our end of the month community active service. And so during our active service, we mostly wanted to focus our curriculum surrounding that and community outreach to focus on low-income, under-resourced communities that our students reside in specifically, just because we wanted to have very impactful work and meaningful work to combat stress, especially in their home life, school life, personal life, etc. And so just to have an amazing starting point, we had our students complete a certification training centered around trauma-informed care, in which our students provided tons of feedback ranging from having an increased self-awareness to knowing how to respond rather than to react, meaning that this was an overall great conversational starter when learning about mental health. And so before I go into what we did and why we did it in our modules, I want to discuss how we went about creating the curriculum, in which we wanted to have each of our experts and our trainers talk about the what, hows, and whys, about not only what is the problem, but why is it still a problem? How does it affect me mentally or other factors in my life, and what can I do about it? And so with that in mind, in our nutrition module, we had a local pediatrician talk with our students about not only the science behind nutrition, but what were the historical and structural contexts of food swamps and deserts and other inequities that we see today. And so then afterwards, our students did a little interactive game with code names, which is kind of like a match the term and definition game with creative hints. And most importantly, our active service, in which our students created from scratch infographics both in English and Spanish, in which they handed these infographics out in local food banks and swap meets. In our next module, it was much of the same. Learn about answer those what, hows, and why questions, but we mostly focus also on social determinants of health, which is basically factors that influence health outcomes from community members. And so with that in mind, our students for active service did a case study in which they talked about their real world experiences or fictional experiences, and then they identified what social determinants of health were affected in those and provided local resources to combat those. And then for our physical activity module, this one was really fun. We had our students create videos in which were at home or at school with their friends and family. Many of our students did workouts, did sports with their siblings. It was really interesting to see that. And interesting enough, one of our students who was interested in becoming a firefighter went to our local fire department in Fresno and interviewed and spoke about the importance of physical activity there. And then finally, for our mindfulness practice module, we worked with Saluna app, which is a startup, statewide app that's coming up that's wanting to provide local mindfulness practice education and resources. So we worked with them, and we really focused on yogas and breath work to really center on being present in the moment. And so then for our active service here, we went to our local university at Fresno State, did some mindfulness practices, and out in the open to promote it, and also just to promote the app itself. And then in terms of extra opportunities, we also had our students participate in our own version of Brand Cap, similar to the Brand Cap that the challenge offered as well. That was much more personalized, making them understand their own personal attributes as well, and then have them talk more about ACEs in the community and also do some legislative advocacy work as well in Sacramento. In terms of our impact, we have seen an overall growth in terms of personal education and overall growth in their personal lives, in their family lives, and this was done through being able to feel connected with their community. And then for some next steps, we hope to finish off our modules and for sure complete a polished, more sharpened a curriculum style that's shareable for others who want to do similar work to what we're doing with ACEs. And what we didn't expect is that we'll be working with the California Office of Surgeon General. We have the opportunity to work with Dr. Gilgoff, who is the leading pioneer in ACEs and toxic awareness advocacy, and also participating in the statewide campaign. Once again, my name is Christian Santos, Chair of the Youth Health Ambassadors, and thank you all for letting me speak.
Mic there and the clicker there. Are you going to use that? Yeah, I'll go ahead. So you go ahead and click one. And then one more.
You shouldn't judge the quality of your life until you've done everything in your capabilities to set things straight. And Nate lived by that, and now I will live by that.
Nathan taught me to see life through a lens of positivity. He made me believe I was capable of things I never thought were possible.
He was an example of someone that didn't get anything handed to him. He worked for it, and he got it.
Wonder what would I do if I had the chance to see your face again? Live it up on my time and don't care about the cash we spend. You know it's always rage on to the very end. Yeah, from here on out I'm with fam and friends. Gotta do what
We started Nate's Place, a wellness and recovery center in honor of Nate. And we opened our doors in February of 2023. Nate struggled with substance use as an early teen, and we were able to get him in treatment, and he really threw himself into his recovery, attending 12-step meetings. But the thing that made the biggest difference was he worked one-on-one with a peer recovery coach who was such a positive influence on his life. And he kind of got him into weightlifting, boxing, taught him to play the guitar. Nate started meditating, journaling, and Nate learned that he could have a fun and rewarding life and be clean and sober. So when he passed away, so many people reached out to us and told us that Nate had supported them. And we came up with this idea of starting a nonprofit that honored Nate's recovery recipe, what worked for him. And so what we have are peer recovery coaches who work one-on-one and up to 20 recreational activities like boxing, fitness, guitar, drumming, and lots of groups.
His determination and ambition was contagious. Seeing him do good made you want to do good for yourself. He understood the importance of living each day like it's your last and the importance of doing what you love. He inspired so many people and still is even after he is gone. He was so special, a truly magnificent, extraordinary soul. It physically and mentally pains me to imagine a world where Nate isn't in it.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here. My name is Heidi Allison. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm the co-founder of Nate's Place, and I'm Nate's mom. Nate passed away at the age of 21 2 years ago from a traffic collision, and he had been in recovery for 6 years and was doing well in his life. Nate and his recovery recipe were the inspiration for Nate's Place. We found that there were no other programs like this in Ventura County. There was a huge need, and there was a large gap in services, particularly for low-income BIPOC youth. We serve at-risk youth ages 13 to 25 who have mental health and substance use challenges. Our services are free. We provide free transportation. We pick kids up at school, take them home at night, and bilingual staff. Our unique program includes evidence-based practices. First, we have one-on-one peer recovery coaching with trained peers who have their own lived experience. Our remarkable peer coaches instill hope in our participants. We've also witnessed the healing impact of youth interacting with these positive role models who've gone through similar life experience. Second, we teach healthy coping skills to build resilience through 10 evidence-based groups that includes groups like an addiction recovery group, AA for young persons, LGBTQI+ group, DBT, coping skills groups, and more. Third, our center is a safe haven clubhouse setting with lots of healthy replacement activities, as mentioned, fitness equipment, boxing, art and music classes, yoga, just to name a few. We've seen a huge boost in the self-esteem of teens who've tried rock climbing, kayaking, and surfing for the first time. These activities greatly increase their self-esteem. Finally, we conduct substance use workshops and prevention talks at schools and in the community. What we've learned from our outcome data since February 2023 is that our program model has had a significant impact on youth. The majority of people we serve are low-income, BIPOC, primarily Hispanic individuals, and we've seen real-world outcomes. 89% report an improvement in their mental health after being at Nate's Place, 88% an increase in their motivation to reduce substance use. We hear from parents and youth that they have improved grades, reduced fighting and suspensions, and improved relationships. In the future, we envision serving hundreds more youth because Nate's Place increases resilience. Thank you for your time.
Give another round of applause for all of our finalists so far. While all of our finalists help to support resilience, our final group has a focus on health resources. These innovative organizations help to dismantle barriers to health resources that all youth deserve. Our final group consists of Project Radical Hope, Project Mindful Matters, and Foster Space.
Hello, my name is Heather Yazzie Campbell, and I'm White Mountain Apache, and I'm Navajo. And I'm here all the way from Albuquerque, New Mexico, so a little different, kind of moist for me. I'm a desert person. So if I'm shiny, it's probably because of that. I want to first start and talk about a participant. His name's Danny. He's a 6th grader with severe learning delays. He said when he was asked how he liked 6th grade and school, he replied with, "I like that our school has Project Venture. When we are here, I feel like they see me, and I am part of the group. Sometimes in class, it's hard to be seen or feel a part of the group because I don't read good. Project Venture makes me feel seen." This is only one example of Project Venture's impact on youth. The National Indian Youth Leadership Project, based out of New Mexico, serves Indigenous youth 6th grade through 12th graders. When COVID-19 happened, it highlighted even more the lack of services and opportunity for our youth. Many of our youth communities were severely impacted. I know of one youth who lost 12 family members. Not too long ago, I ran into a past participant. He said he was doing well and entering medical school. He said, anytime anything gets hard, I feel like giving up. I remember the backpacking trip you took us on in the Grand Canyon. It still is one of the hardest things I've ever done. I remember this and tell myself, I can do hard things because I've done them before. And I keep going like you told me to. Our youth and community have great potential if given the opportunity. Our approach to build capable, resilient youth is Project Venture. Project Venture is an evidence-based outdoor leadership program using adventure and experiential education methodology, traditional Indigenous knowledge from elders of those communities we serve, making it culturally relevant to their youth. Being a year-long program, Project Venture partners with schools, teachers, and classrooms. The 4 pillars of Project Venture allow us to achieve at least 250 contact hours with every Project Venture participant. Project Venture positively impacts youth. For example, here are words our youth expressed when asked the question, what did you learn from being in Project Venture? Participants' words are, to be kind and teamworkship and friendship, to participate and try not to give up easily and try my best, to work together, participate more, don't be scared, to do new things and believe in yourself. The skill Project Venture taught me is perseverance. As heard in our youth's words, Project Venture has shown to increase protective factors that lead to greater resiliency. Indigenous people have practiced mindfulness since time immemorial. Mindfulness can help bridge the gap in mental and behavioral health. We are collaborating with the Rio Grande Mindfulness Institute and Indigenous Elder Advisory Committee to co-create culturally responsive mindfulness practices to integrate into Project Venture. This will give youth the tools to deal with mental and behavioral health challenges. We also have a community collaborative committee discovering barriers, gaps, and opportunities within the population we serve to gain a better insight to the needs of our youth. Here's the progress we've made so far. We are learning more about the intersection between Indigenous culture and mindfulness practices. We have developed relationships to Indigenous academics nationally who are doing relevant cutting-edge research. Several individuals from these establishments have joined our Elder Advisory Committee, furthering the level of expertise. We have sought out Indigenous communities using a mindfulness approach to education. The Tulalip tribe in Washington State takes a whole school mindfulness practice to education. We are learning a great deal from their success and challenges. Our curriculum implementation plan is to have intensive mindfulness facilitator trainings with Project Venture staff, which is currently happening, testing the mindfulness practices at a Project Venture summer camp with 200 youth, and integrating practices in the Project Venture curriculum to pilot with 3 partner schools in 24-25 school year. We learned it is important to have behavioral health practitioner on staff to support our youth, and we have been able to hire a clinical psychologist. We're currently serving over 800 youth in 11 schools in New Mexico and on the Navajo Nation. We also serve Indigenous youth on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota, reaching over 250 youth in 4 schools. Our reach continues with Project Venture training across the country. We have held over 10 trainings to various Indigenous replication sites, with at least 5 more scheduled through September. Moving forward, we are continuing with our implementation plan. We are compiling our environmental scan to share with community partners. We are expanding the role of our clinical psychologists to see how Project Venture can work with high-risk youth. We will continue to fundraise our sustainability, and eventually we will complete, package, and disseminate the enhanced curriculum to replication sites. Hey, thank you for your time.
Good afternoon. The country is in the middle of youth mental health crisis, and we at the Boys and Girls Club of Benton County are doing everything in our power to change that. My name is Matt Tolliver, and this is Project Mindful Matters. Before I get into the project, however, I'd like to tell you just a little bit about our organization. Our mission at the club, in short, is to enable all youth, especially those who need us the most, to achieve their full potential. We're located in the very northwest corner of Arkansas in a little town called Bentonville. You may have heard it. It's home of Walmart. Yes, we're all Walmartians. And we have 19 different locations across the county and serve approximately 800 kids a day. At the club, we have what we call our formula for impact. We create unique experiences for all of our club youth by running high-yield activities and targeted programs that, in theory, produce outcomes in 3 different areas, and they are academic success, healthy lifestyles, and character and leadership. We've used this formula for over 33 years, and it's never failed us in the past until COVID. Post-COVID, we realized that the formula had a flaw. Our activities and programs just were not producing the results like they had in the past. There was something missing in our approach, and that was the mental wellness of our youth. We came to the conclusion that if our kids, the youth that we serve, if they're not healthy up here, then nothing else matters. So we got together and decided to do something different. Here's a short video that talks about our approach to improving the mental health and resilience of the youth in our community.
A few studies and statistics that came out after the pandemic around children's well-being were really alarming. About 1 in 5 kids reported that they feel helpless, and about 1 in 5 kids reported that they feel worthless. And no kid should feel worthless.
When you start to see statistics like that, when we read this, we're like, we have to do something. We did a lot of research to see what things could we be doing better in order to be able to improve the mental health of our kids.
One of the things that they've implemented here has been a sensory calming room. It's a place they can go, de-escalate, to kind of gather their senses, to learn some different skills for self-regulation. We have an emotions chart, a feelings chart.
Many children, especially at this age, have a very difficult time articulating what emotions that they're feeling. That's a huge skill to have, and we're now teaching them. When you get a chance to see these kids grow up, that's our source of energy. When we get a chance to see them smile on the way out the door, there's nothing better than that.
Implementing Project Mindful Matters consisted of 4 distinct steps. First, we partnered with a local youth mental health organization called Arisa Health that sent in experts to train our staff. Second, we partnered with the University of Arkansas's School of Social Work to hire 3 mental health professionals. Third, and as you saw in the video, and I wish you guys could see it in person, we transformed one of our rooms into a dedicated sensory calming space that allowed for daily interventions, group counseling, and individual therapy. And lastly, we entered into an agreement with an outside organization called Community Service Incorporated, and this is my favorite part, to provide on-site therapy free of charge to all of our kids and families. It was a beautiful thing when it all came together, and thus far, the results have far exceeded our expectations. In just 9 short months, and as we talked this morning, it's so hard to believe it's been 9 months, Mindful Matters has produced some incredible results. During this time, first, our staff engagement increased. By learning how to identify signs of trauma and new methods of de-escalating conflict, they became more confident in their jobs. Second, and this is the statistic that blows me away, we had a 40% decrease in discipline issues. Prior to this project, we were averaging almost 43 incidents per month, and just last month, we had 26. And lastly, while this was not one of our original goals, but the engagement with our parents dramatically increased. And while we don't have the data yet, if our hypothesis is correct, the long-term impact will be even better. Not only will our kids be better students in school, but we will see decreased rates of depression as they get older. So what's our plan for the future? Given the success we have seen thus far, in the next 12 to 18 months, we plan to roll out Project Mindful Matter to all of our 19 units across the county, and within the next 5 years, using the blueprint that we have created to help all the other Boys and Girls Clubs in the state start their own program. As I stated in the beginning, the country is in a youth mental health crisis, and Project Mindful Matters and the resilience it's creating is our way to helping solve that. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dylan Myers.
And my name is Libby McBride, and we are here representing Foster Space at the University of California, San Francisco. So in 2021, 75% of foster youth left care without the adequate resources to transition into adulthood and independent living. Some of the barriers to accessing the care that they need include changing placements frequently, encountering long wait lists, and being matched with untrained clinicians.
Foster Space helps solve that narrative. With the help of the UCSF team, former foster youth like myself were able to join the Foster Space Advisory Board, a team driving change and developing the app to help tailor resources and develop a system and a space so that foster youth are able to get the mental health and wellness resources they need. Because at the end of the day, what better to determine what resources a population gets than the population themselves. As it stands currently, Foster Space offers a wide variety of resources such as mental health clinician, peer navigators, and wellness resources delineated by county, and a wide variety of others with a nice little space theme. And it's currently available to current and former foster youth in the state of California.
So the app has been live for 2 years now, and all of the services on the app are free, so that eliminates the barriers of finances and insurance. And so the Resilience Challenge gave us a really cool opportunity to really hone in on youth mental wellness and resilience. So one of our aims to this challenge was to expand digital access to foster space throughout California. To do so, we partnered with the app Soluna, which is a mental wellness app sponsored by the state of California to provide free support to all Californians ages 13 to 25. They've added a link to Foster Space in their resource directory, which means that any of the Soluna users who are foster youth and are looking for more tailored and personalized support can be directed to us.
We've also expanded the Foster Space Advisory Board. Originally, the FAB was put together with Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area foster youth, but now we've added 3 new members to the advisory board, spanning all across the state of California to ensure that we have that enhanced peer support and are tailoring our resources to provide a much more personalized experience and covering as much identity populations as possible. And to focus and promote empowerment and resilience, we partnered with institutes like the Steinberg Institute, the Baker Institute, and California Coalition for Youth to create a series of policy and advocacy events, such as our flagship event, Foster Summit. Foster Summit allowed foster youth from across the state and their support staff as well, such as social workers, academic counselors like that, to be able to join in and meet with experts, experts on policy and advocacy, to learn about how they can get engaged, how they can participate, becoming a self-advocate, and really empower their voices. And many of these experts themselves had lived experience in the foster youth system. The results are just simply tangible. If you look, we have some quotes from participants. It allowed them to connect with others that have also been in foster care and see their inspiring stories of how they took their experiences and used it to change our community in a positive way. I learned a lot of new things. I was taught about the bills and to do a pitch to help change the world, as well as be a voice for those who couldn't be heard. And even one of our new FAB members turned this policy and advocacy advice into actionable work by working in her community to get a no turn on red sign put at a very dangerous intersection in her neighborhood. And this is just an early example of showing what happens when you empower youth to be able to have a voice and make a change.
So we're excited to know that we are just seeing the beginnings of the impact that Foster Space has had via the Resilience Challenge. Looking ahead, we are very excited to continue to expand access to foster space through partnering with court-appointed special advocates, or CASA, on a 5-year grant from the National Institute of Drug Abuse, where we will be implementing foster space and embedding it within the CASA support framework that already exists to support foster youth across California. And currently, as part of that grant, our FAB is designing and implementing additional app content specifically related to substance use prevention and intervention, which has been an identified need for the community. So we are so grateful for all of the support we've gotten through the Resilience Challenge, and we are excited to continue doing this work throughout the years. If you'd like to learn more about Foster Space and our team, you can scan this QR code, but we also have flyers and some stickers and other goodies available at the resource table. So we know we're the last presenters, so thank you for sticking with us, and appreciate to be here with you all. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for being here for our first ever Children and Youth Resilience Summit. Let's give another round of applause to all of our finalists, our presenters, and my wonderful co-host, Lizzie. It's been an honor to celebrate each and every one of these finalists today. Every single organization here is doing incredible work to change the world, and that itself is something to be celebrated. These organizations are proof that there is always hope, and there is always a way to change things for the better. To close out today, we are next joined by Jessica Marcella, who was appointed Deputy Assistant Secretary for Population Affairs and Director of the Office of Adolescent Health at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services after working for over 20 years to advance sexual and reproductive health. In this capacity, Ms. Marcella oversees the Office of Population Affairs, which advises the HHS Secretary and the Department on a range of public health priorities, including quality family planning and adolescent health, and administers nearly $400 million in grants to support family planning service provision, primary prevention, and information education activities to the Title X Family Planning Program, the Evidence-Based Teen Pregnancy Prevention Program, and the Embryo Adoption Awareness Program.
Hello. You all get to start your day with me and end your day with me. Lucky you. Listen, I am blown away by your presentations. You all are phenomenal. Another round. And truly, I am glad that I spoke to you all this morning before I knew how well you all could present, because I'm now really anxious and nervous, because you all are experts and it's amazing. And truly, I wish we had all of the money in the world, because the ways that you articulate the value of your programs, how you took a problem and thought at a very specific level, this is a way that I can make progress and affect change, is just awe-inspiring. And so I am grateful to be in this room with you, to be able to say thank you on behalf of the Biden-Harris administration, the work that you're doing is the work that we are committed to doing each and every day in our roles. And so just to have this moment with you all to celebrate what is a journey and what will continue regardless of how the challenge plays out is really amazing. I know we are at the end of the day for today, but it is my privilege to say for those of you who are here in DC in the room, we can now have a reception, and I hope you will join us to talk to the 14 finalist teams, to ask questions, just to network even more. And thank you so much. We're going to transition to the relaxed part of this, but kudos to all of you.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.